This video, let's talk about the meaning of being measured with the same ruler that we measure. Something a little different here, something a little new. Well, not so much, because I've been thinking about doing this, and shout out to my daughter who's been like for years saying, you need to do something with this. I like how you do this. So this one's for you, sweetie. I get stories from the Bible and I translate them into my daily life to better me, what it means to me, how I translate it to me. What I've been doing lately, which is actually, I'm gonna make another video of a new thing that my mentors suggested that I start doing, which was reading wisdom books daily. So I figured, hey, what better wisdom book than the Bible? So I was like, what part? And I'll make a whole different video about this, the whole process that my head went through in order to choose that. But I read the Bible every day and I get these verses. So whenever I get one that just lines up, and which usually they all do, I'm going to start making interpretation videos of how I interpret the story and how I apply it to my life. This is for sharing purposes only. I'm not a theologian, and that'll be evident. Jim Rohn said that. This is what I do. This is how it hits here and how I apply it to my life. Today I read the story in the Bible about you will be measured with the same ruler that you measure, or something like that. Don't quote me, because I ain't quoting. I'm just saying kind of how I read it and how I remember it. And straight up, I mean, the way that hit to me is pretty straightforward. However you measure, however you judge, however you perceive things, however you see things in the external, whether it be a person, a group of people, a situation, an organization, the world in general, parties, groups, the way you see them and you measure them and you critique them and you feel about them, that's the same ruler that's going to be used to measure you. In this case, the way I see it, to measure me. That clearly just says the world is a mirror. That's it. The world isn't as it is. The world is as you are. The way you see things is the way you are. You see things as great, that's the current frequency you're in. That's the current energy that you're dissipating. So the ruler that you're using to measure the world, maybe not a person, just a person. A lot of the stuff I noticed with these stories, they're not only literal in some cases, but you got to sit with them a little bit and see just a little bit more deep. And how does it apply to like my current day? My current day is March 2025. In like 100 years, this is going to be like ancient. It didn't take long for me to just like, oh, what this means is that I'm not just like, the way you judge a man, that's the way you're gonna be judged, the same way you judge that guy that cut you off. Like, oh, I mean, yeah, okay, I mean, that particular event, that particular moment. But if you step back, which with all these stories, I always tell myself that, like, step back as far as you can. Go to the farthest seat behind home plate, way at the nosebleeds, where you could like lay back because the wall of the stadium is there and you could lean up on it, and watch that same story from up there and how it applies like universally to your life. Not just today, but like as far back as you can remember, to preschool or kindergarten, however you rock, till like this moment in your life, and how it like a blanket applied to everything. And that's the way I see it. It's the perfect example of, you know, the way you see things is the way you are. So if you see a situation like, oh man, that guy's, you know, so rude and mean to me, or like, why is everybody like so aggressive with me and always in a bad mood? That's a version of you that you don't like about yourself that you're trying to change. Somehow, maybe not direct, but I'm not rude to anybody. I'm not mean. I'm super nice. You may not be rude to everybody, such as that person is being rude to you, but maybe you're rude to people in your thoughts. Or maybe you're rude to your kids or to your spouse or to people that love you. And you don't consider them strangers, but you're rude to them in the way you approach them, and the way you show up, and the way you pull up when you get home. That may not be in public. That may not be a stranger. That may not be the employee at the store, but it is a version of you that expresses the way you carry yourself in certain situations. It may be even how mean you are to you. Maybe you're not taking care of yourself. Maybe you're being mean to you because you're neglecting yourself. You don't have any kind of a morning routine or a night routine, or you don't exercise, or you don't eat well. You're pretty much treating yourself like trash, such as those people are treating you like trash. The world is a mirror. You see, like, oh man, there's just so many problems, the terrible times we live in. It's like, well, it's not so much of the times that we live in that you think are terrible. Remember, you're being measured with the same ruler that you're measuring. You're just expressing the way you feel about yourself. Your world, your tiny little world of just you, the speck of a speck, is terrible. That's the way you see it, so that's the way you are. Change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at will change. You change yourself, your world will change. You start getting up earlier, your world will change. You start eating better, your world will change. You start exercising every day, your world will change. You'll be measured with the same ruler that you measured. That's the way I translated it to apply to me. It's clear as day. It makes it, and I just carry this whole thought the whole day, and it helps when I come across challenges, when I see things that like, oh man, that's not, I'm just being measured with the same ruler that I measure. Hope this helps you see things different. If you have any suggestions or anything, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the next one.